Hello, this is Valcor Drake Rider, and I'm here today to show you a couple of cool creations I made using Castle Magic. I'm going to start in order of less exciting to more exciting. So to start, I made a workable game of TicTacToe. I have seen at least two other people make TicTacToe using Castle Magic before. However, both of their designs relied on pressure plates to coordinate where they go from separate grids. So I wanted to try to make something a little bit more intuitive, where it was all compacted in a singular spot. I think this came out looking really, really nice. The only thing is, compared to those pressure plate designs, this takes up a lot more space. Just in Castle Magic, this takes up about 75 space, and about 90 to 100 total. So, the way this one works is whichever space you want to play your X or O on, you are just going to jump. All you have to do is jump on your space and it will summon your X or your O for you. And then it will alternate automatically every time, so the next will be an O, and the next will be an X, and the next will be an O, and the next will be an X, and so on and so forth. And then whenever you want to end the game, you go ahead and press this button, and it will reset the whole thing. So really nice and easy. The way this works is I have two grids of 3x3 computers. These timers will change the turns and add signal 1 to either this layer or this layer, depending on the turn. And the jump detectors will add signal 2 to whichever column that they are pertaining to. So this one right here will add will add signal 2 to both of these. However, signal 1 will only be present in one of these two, depending on which turn it is, which will let it know whether to make the circle or the X visible. So that's really all there is to that. The more exciting thing is the next creation, which is something I've seen a lot of Castle Magic savvy folks attempt to make or want to make, but I have never seen it actually done before. And I've been wanting to for some time. It took me quite a lot of scheming to figure out a way that would work within the space that the game gives you. But I finally came up with something. This uses around 275 Castle Magic items and a good bit over 300 total items to make fully functional and look pretty nice. So, when you first walk up, you're going to notice there is a Say the Magic Word as well as a grid of banners. This is letting you know that there are magic text detectors in play, and that's how you're going to influence the movement of the pieces. So if you say Balance School, it's going to move the piece forward. Death School will move it right. Fire School backwards, and Ice to the left. Life is going to take out your piece if the enemy takes out your piece through the game. You can also use Life School again a second time in order to recall your piece from the grave, assuming you got a pawn to the other side of the board. So the way this is going to work is you are going to start by pressing this magic button that will be inside of your plank here. You'll notice that one of the pieces became translucent. This is to indicate which piece you are currently selecting. Then, in order to move it, all you have to do is say which direction you want it to go in. So Balance School is forward, so you'd say Balance School, and your piece would move forward 1 space. Let's say since it's a pawn on the first turn, it can move forward 2 spaces, you would just say it a second time to, my bad, you have to be on your side. You say it a second time to move it another space forward. When you're done with that piece, or you want to select a different one, you just press your magic button again, and it will cycle between each piece left to right, starting with your front row, then your back row. Once it gets to your last one, it will reset so that none are selected, and then you can select your first one again. It works the same way on the other side with black, where you can see the first one on the front left row is selected, and then it will continually go all the way around. Now, because you only move pieces a singular space in any direction at a time, it's up to you to know the rules of the game and how pieces move so that you can say the correct number of phrases to get it to the right spot. So, like, for example, a knight will always have to move 2 spaces in one direction and then 1 space in another. So all you would do is you would say balance school twice for forward, for example. And then let's say ice school. And there you go. It moved just like a knight would. So you can use this to navigate and operate your whole game. To show you the recall mechanic, if you say schools and you go life school, you'll see that the piece is put to the left so that it is no longer in play currently. But if you say life school the second time, it will return to its original position on the board. So that's how you're able to take pieces out of the game and put them back in. And that's all about that there is to it. I really hope you enjoyed. You know what? What am I talking about? I need to show you how it works. So, as I said, about 275 castle magic items are used in this. It may not look it when you're over here, but when you come over here and see a nice other bulk of it, right here is 160 text detectors. There are 32 pieces in a game of chess, and I decided that each would have 5 functions, so each text detector is 1 function for 1 piece. The reason they're way out here is if they were all present over there, then they would overlap and conflict. The selection system will recall a single set of these so that they are accessible to you over there, and then when you select a new piece, it'll send them back and take the new set of text detectors pertaining to that piece over there. The only other thing that I'd like to explain in decent detail is the selection system. So the way the selection system works is primarily through these magic counters. When you press your button, it's going to trigger this reflector/timer sequence. This reflector, in the first place, it'll be the first one activated, will restore all text detectors to their original locations over there. This is by using the Restore the State of Objects Near the Target spell. I had to properly distance it so that it only affected the text detectors, not the pieces or anything else affected by castle magic. So, the next thing that's going to happen is 1 is going to be added to our first magic counter. Now, each of these, the way they work, is their test value is set to 1. When it equals value, they each have their own reflector, which is triggered, and each reflector is going to teleport all 5 of their pertaining text detectors to themselves, and also make their current target translucent so that you know that it's targeted. The following one is going to make that same previous target opaque so that you know that you're targeting the second one and not both the first and second. So the way that this chains together, so each one of these can represent a piece, is when this one goes over value, so it goes over 1. So on the second turn that you press the button, it's going to make this 2 instead of just 1, and that's going to trigger when count is over value cast spell, which is going to add 1 to the next magic counter, which then equals 1 and affects the second one. And this is going to chain the same way all the way through every counter until the very end, in which case it will actually trigger these reflectors, which will set all of the counters to 0, effectively resetting the whole process. The only other thing would just be that the middle text detectors, which are represented by the life school, just toggle signal 1 on these computers. When signal 1 is added, it's going to teleport the object to the computer, which will take it out of bounds. When signal 2 is subtracted, since it's a toggle spell, it's going to just restore the position, the original position of that same piece. And all in all, that's how it works. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'm sure I'll be coming back at you again with even more castle magic creations. Bye-bye.